I've been a working professional for 5 years now, and I've just gotten engaged to the man I deeply love. He's a divorcee with a child. There might be societal prejudice against us, but I love him and his child. Our family of 3 was walking a blissful life path. Or so I thought. With only a few months left until the wedding, everything was going so well for us. But who would have thought we'd end up in such a situation? My name is Ann Davis, 27 years old. I'm an ordinary office worker in a regular company. You could say my life up until now has been quite ordinary. As a shy person who dislikes being the center of attention, I've mostly been a wallflower. No romantic experiences to speak of, and no dating throughout my student years. I was just a quiet student, concentrating on my studies and extracurricular activities. But now I have someone I want to protect. My fiancé, Mark Johnson. Mark is 3 years older than me and works at a company affiliated with mine. We met through work, but our romantic relationship started due to a different reason. One day I was shopping alone at a mall on a day off, and I found a little girl who was lost. I immediately took her to the mall security center. While waiting with the child for the arrival of the guardian, it was Mark who heard the announcement and rushed over in a panic. As we already knew each other through work, we couldn't help but widen our eyes in surprise at the encounter. "Anne?" he exclaimed. "Mark, so you're the father of this little girl?" I replied. "Wow, I'm so relieved it was you who found her," Mark sighed. "She's about to start elementary school, but she's really shy and timid. I was so worried when she got lost. But thanks to you, she's safe now. Thank you." And so, in this unexpected way, Mark and I found ourselves connected. From that day on, Mark and I started interacting more outside of work. But initially, it wasn't because he was interested in me. His daughter Lily had taken a liking to me. "Anne, Lily's been asking to see you. Would you like to join us for a meal sometime? As a thank you for the other day?" he suggested. "Really? I'd love to meet Lily again," I replied enthusiastically. Mark had booked a lovely restaurant and picked me up in his car. His manners were impeccable, and as someone with no romantic experience, his actions made my heart flutter. We had a few more meals together, always with Lily. Then, one day, during lunch break at work, I got a message from Mark. "How about dinner tonight?" he asked. "Sure, I'm looking forward to seeing Lily again," I replied. "Well, I was thinking it would just be the 2 of us this time." I was surprised. Looking back, I think a lot of things happened by chance. Huh? Even now when I think about it, I believe a multitude of coincidences piled on top of each other. Mark and our little Lily. I just wanted the 3 of us to live happily ever after. But then something happened that rocked my smooth life. I was set to marry Mark, and we had arranged a meeting between our families. However, there was one thing that was troubling me. It was about my brother Keith and his wife Renee. To put it bluntly, they are a couple of absolutely ridiculous troublemakers. Renee is somewhat of a well-known model, and apparently quite popular among the younger crowd. On the surface, she seems adorable, but in reality, she's a wicked woman who enjoys ridiculing me together with my brother. Keith, for his part, has always looked down on me, his little sister, and is an utterly despicable person. He had a brief stint working for a magazine during his college years where he met Renee and quickly got married. Now, since Renee makes a decent income, Keith basically lives off her earnings. In other words, he's a moocher. It was clear to me that these 2 would never sincerely celebrate my upcoming wedding. Feeling anxious, I decided to consult with my mother. "Mom, about that family meeting, do we really have to invite Keith and Renee?" I understand why you wouldn't want to, Anne, but what if we don't invite them, and it turns out like the time with your father?" "Ah, right. What my mother referred to was the incident during my father's funeral. Keith had always been a burden to our family, and particularly, he didn't get along with our father. Ever since my father fell ill and started battling the disease, he would often say, "Even if I die, never invite Keith to my funeral." After my father passed away, my mother and I respected his wish and didn't invite Keith to the funeral. However, somehow Keith found out about the funeral and showed up unannounced. "This is a joke. How can you not invite me, his son? Make sure I get my rightful inheritance." He caused a huge scene, yelling and creating a great inconvenience to the attendees. Because of such experiences, I was deeply troubled. If we didn't invite Keith to the family meeting, it could potentially cause more trouble. After discussing with my mother, we reluctantly decided to invite Keith and his wife. However, I would later realize that this decision was indeed a mistake. On the day of the family meeting, Keith and Renee did not show up on time. I began to wonder if they might not come at all. Just as I was thinking this, they made their entrance, flamboyantly dressed and clearly not fitting the occasion. "Sorry we're late. Oh, Anne, you're getting married. I never thought a gloomy girl like you could get hitched. Times really have changed." The atmosphere, which had been pleasant up until then, froze in an instant at my brother's remark. The only saving grace was our daughter, Lily's reaction. Upon seeing Renee, her eyes lit up. "It's the real Renee! Amazing! Can I have your autograph, please?" The tension in the room eased a bit at Lily's adorable request, but only for a moment. Renee clicked her tongue after giving Lily a quick glance. "What's with this kid? Asking for an autograph right off the bat? So presumptuous. This is why I hate kids." Lily, presumably scared by Renee's intimidating demeanor, turned pale and hid behind Mark. Seeing this, my brother delivered the final blow, disrupting the harmony of the occasion. "So, Anne, your fiancé's a single dad, huh? Are you just conveniently filling in as a mom or what?" "Hey, Keith, how could you say that? Apologize to Mark and Lily." "Huh? Why do I have to apologize?" Keith shot Mark an insolent look. "I thought it was strange that you were getting married in the first place, but if the guy's a single dad, it makes sense. You're the type to be easily swayed, aren't you? Well, Mark, you found a quick replacement for a mom. Good for you." I can tolerate him belittling me, but belittling Mark too? My brother and his wife just laughed out loud, saying, "It's a shame to tell her the truth." I deeply regretted inviting them. After doing as they pleased, Keith and his wife left without a word of apology. I repeatedly bowed my head in apology with my mother. "I'm really sorry, my brother was so rude." It wouldn't be surprising if this led to the breakup of our engagement. What if Mark's parents get angry? However, Mark and my in-laws laughed it off. "Don't worry about it. The one who must have had the hardest time was you, Anne, right?" Mark's comforting words were followed by my in-laws. "That's right, Anne dear. We heard about it from Mark, and we understood today just how kind you are." "That's right, Anne. Don't worry about it. We're on your side." "Mark, thank you, mother-in-law, father-in-law." Despite the trouble caused by my brother and his wife, thanks to the magnanimity of my fiancé and my in-laws, I was able to get through the meeting. Needless to say, we decided not to invite my brother and his wife to the wedding after consulting with my mother. And then 5 months later, on the long-awaited day of my wedding to Mark, while preparing in the dressing room, I received a call from my brother. With an ominous feeling, I nervously picked up. Hello? "Hey, what's the meaning of this?" "What do you mean? What?" "Don't play dumb. I know today's your wedding day. It's a good thing I heard about it otherwise, since you completely forgot to send me an invitation. What were you thinking?" Apparently, he'd heard about the wedding from a cousin who was attending. My brother had mistaken the invitation I intentionally didn't send as an oversight on my part. Then, in a mocking tone, Keith said, "Well, I'll let it slide this time. I never planned to attend in the first place." "What are you talking about?" I raised my voice provocatively against Keith. For the record, we never invited you and Renee in the first place.
You getting cocky, huh? Don't get ahead of yourself just because you're getting married. Ugly.
My brother's voice was trembling with anger. The more he yelled, the calmer I became. Is that all you can do? Shouting loudly? What a pitiful person. Someday, someone will pull the rug out from under you.
What? Remember this. I will make you regret this.
Goodbye, and please never involve yourself with me again, I said firmly and hung up the phone. Afterwards, he called several times, but I ignored them all. By cutting ties with my brother, my heart felt a little lighter. Thanks to that, I was able to switch my mood and attend the ceremony. We were being blessed by a large number of people at the ceremony venue. I brushed aside the memory of my brother's words, telling myself to immerse in the happiness of the moment. Then it happened. Bang! The venue's door opened and my brother and his wife appeared. Then my brother turned to the guests and loudly announced,
Ladies and gentlemen, we are the bride's brother and sister-in-law, but we were not invited to the wedding. Isn't that terrible?
Hey, brother, stop it.
What? You're the one at fault. This is your punishment for ostracizing us.
The venue started to buzz with the arrival of my brother and his wife. Did you hear that? She didn't invite her own brother. That's pretty harsh, isn't it? I thought it was strange for her to marry a man with kids in the first place. Voices criticizing us began to reach our ears. I felt guilty towards my partner and in-laws. And my sister-in-law is a famous model. We were the ones who ended up looking bad for not inviting her to the wedding. Suddenly, there was a sharp noise as a microphone was switched on.
Hello? Hello? Is this loud enough?
Lily?
I'm going to spill the beans now.
The person who took the microphone was Lily. She took out the new smartphone she got the other day and started operating it. The next moment, a voice started to echo around the venue.
And you're getting married? You're such an introverted, ugly, and now you're getting married? Times sure have changed.
What's with this kid? Asking for an autograph out of the blue. This is why I hate kids.
I always thought it was weird that you were getting married, Mark. But if you have a kid, I get it. Good for you for finding a mother figure so quickly.
It's sad to say the truth. Indeed, the audio that Lily leaked were these rude remarks that my brother and his wife had made during our meetup.
Hey, what is this? Stop it.
No, stop this audio! Keith and Renee's faces went pale in an instant. Knowing their true nature, the venue began to buzz even more.
Hey, Anne, this you're doing? Enough is enough.
Then Mark, who had been quiet until now, smoothly stepped in.
Can I ask you to leave because you're causing trouble? I'll call the cops if you continue to stick around. What did you say? I think it's better for you to leave quickly for your own good. Huh?
When I turned around, there were the guests pointing their smartphones at Keith and his wife. Keith was one thing, but Renee was a celebrity. It was natural for the attendees to turn into onlookers. I can't take this anymore. I'm leaving.
Hey, Renee!
Renee fled from the venue. Keith chased after her. The venue was soon filled with a storm of applause. Mark and Lily shared a bashful smile. After that, the ceremony ended without a hitch. I asked Lily about something that had been bothering me for a long time. Lily, how did you get that audio?
Oh, that? I got a new phone from Dad, and I wanted to try out various functions. I was recording the whole time since the meetup.
Haha, so that's what it was. But thanks to you, Lily, we were saved. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Without that audio, we probably would have been the villains. As for Renee, rumors spread that she was a wicked model who ruined her sister-in-law's wedding, and numerous contracts were canceled. She was even dropped from the magazine she had an exclusive deal with and was quickly frozen out. With Renee's income nearly gone, the relationship between Keith and Renee worsened. According to the rumors, they decided to divorce easily. On the other hand, Mark and I were blessed with a new life. We're now a family of 4 living peaceful days. We don't have much money or fame, but still, I cherish these days with my beloved family more than anything.